Shall we take a look together at the most important week of 2026? Some astrologers are calling this week the moment before birth. And honestly, I think that is such an accurate description. That is exactly what this week is going to feel like. I'm Cecilia Ray, the astrologer who helps you see in advance how your week is going to unfold. First of all, this week is going to move very fast. Second, please be careful with clumsiness and little accidents. With this much Aries energy, the chance of being careless is very high. Be mindful of your own speed too. When you rush through things, there is a very high chance that mistakes can happen. So I think it would be good to move with a little more awareness. I'm not saying this to scare you, just a small warning. And as you know, this week will end with the new moon on April 17th. We'll talk about that new moon separately, but first I want us to see how we are moving toward it. Today's energy may feel a little more compassionate, but at the same time, it can still feel like there's a fight happening inside of you. Slowly, though, we're going to start seeing that inner noise clear away. Because from tomorrow onward, all of that Pisces energy is ending and Aries energy will enter our lives in its full clarity, courage, and here I am energy. Tomorrow, Mercury also moves into Aries. And before Mercury enters Aries, it makes one final sextile to Uranus. Because of that, there is a very high possibility that some kind of divine message or realization may come to you from seemingly outside of yourself, something about who you are and where you're going. And the moment Mercury enters Aries, there is also a very high possibility that you'll begin to see clearly what that message actually means. Communication will speed up, everything will become clearer. There's no major transit on Wednesday, but on Thursday we have a Sun-Chiron conjunction. And that is going to be about the walls we have built within ourselves, the walls that keep us from fully being ourselves, because it will show us our wounds. It will reveal the wounds connected to who we are allowed to be. So really, this whole week is not about becoming someone you are supposed to be. It's about facing the person you already are. And then, after that, the moment we call birth will come. The moment when your new self, or rather the self you have always been, begins to emerge. So I want you to turn inward a little this week. There may be wounds that have kept you from being yourself. There may be things that were said to you in the past. There may be lies you've told yourself. There may be systems you've been living inside of. And while you are having these confrontations with what those things are, you must not be afraid of change. I want you to be motivated to change them yourself. Because the only thing we are truly responsible for in this existence is bringing ourselves into being. Aries energy is not an energy that asks for permission in order to exist. Whatever it is, it says, this is me, and it exists. That is what this week is about. And like I said, it is going to move very fast. Now let's look at the signs one by one and see what's written on their report cards for this week. Let's begin with Aries and Aries rising. Dear Aries, it's as if all the planets have gathered in your space right now. And that means one thing very clearly. You are one of the signs feeling this week's energy the most intensely. And I'm going to be honest, you need to move through this week carefully. First, I want to say something to everyone, but especially to Aries. With this much Aries energy, the likelihood of clumsiness, rushing, bumping into things, falling, getting hurt, or straining the head and face area is much higher. In fact, I recently met up with an Aries friend, Sun in Aries, and in a very short time, they had injured themselves twice, once by falling and once by hurting their face. I told them, be careful. This energy has already started. From now on, be much more mindful. And I want to say this to all 12 signs as well. No matter what your sign is, listen to Aries this week, because Aries is the first sign, and the energy landing in Aries affects all of us in some way. Of course, Aries feels it the most, but it still has something to say to everyone. This week, be especially careful with the head, face, eyes, ears, and the entire head area. Don't be careless with anything involving vision, hearing, headaches, facial sensitivity, or the organs in that region. And please do not get any sketchy or uncertain procedures done this week, especially the kind you're not fully sure about. This is not the week for under-the-table treatments or random cosmetic risks. Swelling, bruising, stains, wounds, or even more lasting issues could happen. Be extremely cautious with the face, head, and upper body in general. Beyond that, Aries needs to stay away from fights, conflict, and impulsive reactions. You may begin the week wanting to move toward your goals, while at the same time feeling like your hope is fading. Your emotions may feel mixed, blurry, and unstable. At times, you may feel powerful and brave. At other times, you may feel exhausted, discouraged, and like you just can't do this anymore. But all of that is temporary. This week, do not believe every emotion, every thought, or every urge you feel, especially this. Move through this week with a little more awareness, as if each step could hide a small trap. Some Aries may truly see the real face of their enemies this week. You may notice betrayals, manipulations, people acting behind your back, or people not being who you thought they were. These people could even be close to you. So yes, what gets revealed this week may affect you deeply. But here's the dangerous part. What you see may push you into acting rashly. You may feel like saying, "How could they do this to me?" and react immediately. That is exactly where you need to pause. In your relationships, your work, your decisions, on the road, in traffic, in public, everywhere, you need to protect yourself more this week. And when I say protect yourself, I do not mean live in battle mode. I don't mean walk around as if someone is about to attack you at any moment. I mean be protected, careful, and optimistic. Let your guard be awareness, not fear. You may not love the flow of life this week. Some of you may be fighting for what is rightfully yours. You may have to put in extra effort to claim what belongs to you, and that can feel exhausting. But this energy does not always manifest as something terrible. It could show up as moving house, lifting heavy things, doing deep cleaning, training hard, or any physically demanding task. So what looks like a crisis could sometimes simply be intense physical exhaustion. Take care of your immune system. And if you are doing any diet, fasting, detox, or restriction-based routine right now, I strongly recommend doing it under medical guidance. Now let's talk about the good part. The Venus-Jupiter sextile is positively affecting your money sector. A surprise payment could come in. A sense of abundance and flow could begin opening somewhere. If you have been waiting for money, you may receive it. There is also no major energy completely blocking education, communication, or your mental clarity. But this is the kind of week where one issue may overshadow everything else. It may not even be a crisis, just one major matter that becomes the center of your world. Still, I believe in the blessing of this Venus-Jupiter sextile. I believe a lucky opening can come through that. I'm choosing to look at this positively for Aries, and I hope you experience the goodness of that beautiful aspect. This week, Aries people need a little extra support. Be more understanding with Aries children, Aries siblings, Aries partners, Aries friends, or anyone strongly influenced by Aries energy. They may be irritable, impatient, and easily triggered. Don't come at them with fire. Approach your Aries loved ones as if you are gently taking them under your wing. Support them, encourage them, stand beside them with positive energy. Dear Aries, I truly wish you ease this week. May it come with peace, abundance, and blessings. Taurus and Taurus rising. Now let's move on to Taurus and Taurus rising. Actually, this week is not all that bad for Taurus. In fact, there are some genuinely protective influences around you, especially the Venus-Jupiter sextile and the positive Mercury-Uranus aspect are placing Taurus under a kind of celestial protection. Venus is already in Taurus, Uranus is in Taurus, and their positive interaction with Mercury and Jupiter creates an energy that says, even if difficult things exist, there are good things protecting you too. But protection does not mean you get to be careless. Especially for Taurus rising, because the 12th house is being activated, themes of the invisible, the hidden, the unknown, buried memories, old traumas, secret enemies, and self-sabotage may all begin to surface. So my first advice is this: protect your secrets. Be very careful this week about who you talk to and what you reveal. You may end up seeing the true face of people you trusted deeply, but secretly had doubts about. If you suddenly feel like something is off, at work, in your marriage, in the family, or in life in general, first ask, is someone from outside creating this disturbance? Then turn inward and ask, am I, without realizing it, creating this myself? Am I sabotaging my own peace? Old family wounds, feelings of worthlessness, memories of being told you can't do this or you'll never succeed may feel especially strong this week. If you find yourself drifting into the past or reliving old pain, take it seriously. Get support if needed. A therapist, a psychiatrist, a counselor, whatever kind of professional support is appropriate, because some emotions may rise to the surface this week. Health also needs care, especially the eyes, head area, general energy, fatigue, immunity, and insomnia may be under pressure. You may be bringing work home at night, staying up too late, working day and night, and not truly resting. That can take a toll on the body. So watch your back a little. Protect your secrets, your projects, and the things you need to keep private. Do not believe everything people say. If someone comes to you and says, so and so said this about you, don't immediately go into attack mode. They may be lying. This week, my biggest warning for Taurus is do not focus on words. Focus on actions. Don't listen only to what people say. Watch what they do. There are clues in what is left unsaid too. There are messages in what is hidden. If you have a project, plan, or idea that needs to stay private, keep it to yourself this week if you can. Even if you feel like sharing it with a close friend, hold back, because your peace, your health, and your privacy are especially precious right now. Still, I want to repeat this. You do have protective energy around you. It may be that, by the grace of God, you are protected from all these hidden dangers. And after April 20, when the sun moves into Taurus, you'll begin to feel even more at ease. Gemini and Gemini rising. Now let's move on to Gemini and Gemini rising. Overall, this is not a bad week for Gemini. In fact, in some areas, there's a very strong invisible protection around you. Like Taurus, Gemini is one of the signs that can be mysteriously protected this week. What does that mean? It could mean being unexpectedly saved from a legal issue, from a situation you feared would be exposed, from losing a job or money, or from watching your enemies get the upper hand. Sometimes the way out may appear almost miraculously, like pulling a hair out of butter. A door could open at the exact moment you thought there was no solution. Some Geminis may even receive a hidden piece of information, a secret truth, a powerful insight, or something that feels like finding treasure. Maybe you finally understand the real reason behind a hurt you couldn't name. Maybe you get good news about a health issue. Maybe you realize that something you thought was unfortunate was actually working in your favor all along. But the real test this week is elsewhere, friends, groups, and your social circle. Gemini may go through an important test with friends, communities, and the circles they belong to. Some of you may suddenly distance yourselves from a group you've been part of for years. A friend may hurt you through their own pain or through the way they treat you. You may be forced to confront ambitious, ego-driven, me-first people in your social environment who try to suppress you or outshine you. This week, you may come face to face with this realization. Wow, there are more people around me who envy me, compete with me, or don't truly support me than I thought. And that can be very painful, because Gemini is a social sign. As an air sign, you talk, connect, circulate, and feel alive in conversation and shared space. But life is now saying to you, your social circle may not be bringing you as much good as you think. Turn inward a little. So my advice is withdraw a bit. Don't tell everyone everything. Don't talk endlessly. Don't say yes to every invitation. Stay close to your essence. Because when you turn inward a little, it becomes much easier to reconnect with your brightest, most successful self. Health-wise, pay attention to hormones, thyroid, irregular eating, late-night snacking, and overconsumption of sugar or greasy foods. Over the next month or so, nighttime eating and physical imbalance may become a challenge if you're not careful. So the summary is this. You're not doing badly in money or work. You are protected. But friendships, social circles, and your inner balance are where your real lessons are this week. Cancer and Cancer rising.
Dear Cancer and Cancer rising.
What happens when fire rises too high? If water tries to extinguish it all at once, damage can happen there too. And that is exactly what Cancer should avoid this week. Don't suddenly put out someone else's excitement, emotion, or inner fire. Normally, Cancer is one of the most intuitive, emotionally intelligent, and perceptive signs, the kind that instantly feels what someone else is going through. But this week, because of your own responsibilities and the stress coming from authority figures, you may not be fully able to register what your loved ones are feeling. So please, don't dismiss your partner's excitement, your child's emotions, or the things your loved ones care deeply about. Don't break hearts. Don't brush people off with, oh, it's nothing. This week and next, Cancer may be facing major themes around ending a job, leaving a role, starting a new one, or stepping into a completely different life chapter. Bosses, managers, the state, institutions, family elders, parents, and especially your partner's family may put pressure on you. If you are married and there are already issues with your partner's family, things could escalate this week. There is a high risk of friction with authority figures, so be extra mindful of your image, your behavior, and especially how you come across in public. You are very open to being misunderstood right now. You may not normally be an angry person, but a single impulsive reaction could leave a lasting impression. If you need to submit paperwork, do it. If you need to make a payment, do it. If you need to fix an official mistake, fix it. Military paperwork, taxes, documents, defenses, applications, formal processes, whatever it is, do not delay it. This week, moving, changing homes, changing locations, changing jobs, and events that shift family dynamics may place a heavier burden on your shoulders. But here is the beautiful part. Jupiter is in Cancer, and you are also one of the signs protected this week. The Venus-Jupiter harmony is giving you support from above. Love, money, communication, and support from friends are not bad at all. But something important is changing in your life path, in your destiny line. So please don't let fear take over while this change is unfolding. There may be a confrontation, a job change, a location shift, or a major adjustment. But what is happening now is still moving in your favor.
Leo and Leo rising.
Now let's move on to Leo and Leo rising. With the fire element this strong in the sky, it makes total sense that Leo may feel more restless than usual. In fact, many Leos and Leo risings may already be feeling a strong energy of leaving, distancing, relocating, or making a major life shift. For some, this could mean changing cities or even countries. For others, it could mean leaving behind a certain way of life, a familiar environment, or an old version of themselves. Since Saturn moved into Aries, this feeling may have become even stronger. There may be a growing sense of, I can't stay here anymore, or I need a bigger change in my life. I'm seeing this very clearly around me too. Leo placements feeling unsettled, unable to fully land where they are, and drawn towards something farther away. The good news is this. Leo also has protective energy around them. Jupiter is in your 12th house, and it is making supportive aspects with both Venus and Uranus. That means even when you think things are over, relief can suddenly appear. Just when you feel like you're about to collapse, an invisible helping hand may catch you. That unseen shield may truly help you this week. But the challenging areas are very real too, especially law, education, travel, communication, media, publishing, internet, and anything international may feel more difficult than usual. If you're traveling, be extra careful. If you have legal matters, double-check everything. If you are in school, applying for something, taking exams, or working in academia or media, details matter a lot this week. Your test this week, and honestly next week too, is very clearly communication. What you say matters. What you do not say matters. Even if you are right, you need to remember that there is still a line, a measure, and a way of speaking that protects you. Being right is not enough if the delivery creates damage. Some Leos may feel heavy because they are moving away from loved ones, because of legal pressure, because of educational stress, or because their beliefs are being shaken. You may find yourself asking, why weren't my prayers answered? Or why didn't I get what I wanted? Or what did I do wrong? These kinds of thoughts can drag you into a much darker emotional space if you're not careful. So this week, trust that you are still under divine protection. Do not rush to harsh conclusions. Do not make final judgments too early. You are not yet seeing the full meaning of what is happening. If you work in media, law, education, publishing, the internet, or communication-based fields, these 2 weeks may feel especially demanding. Expectations may feel heavier. Delays and complications may leave you asking, was I brought into this life just to keep fighting? There is also a family and relatives angle here. Especially if you are married, your partner's family, siblings, or extended family may be more active than usual. This does not always mean harm. Sometimes it means you have to rush to help them. But this area is definitely stirred up, so be mindful in how you communicate with both your own family and your partner's family. In short, dear Leo, you are protected, yes, but you still need to move carefully in communication, travel, education, law, and family matters. Virgo and Virgo rising.
Dear Virgo.
In love, friendships, hopes, dreams, travel, education, law, and communication, you actually have some very beautiful support around you. The Venus, Jupiter, and Mercury, Uranus harmonies are feeding those areas of your life in a positive way. So one side of life is absolutely supporting you. But the more difficult energy is working somewhere else. Shared resources, debts, alimony, inheritance, money owed, obligations, and eighth house themes. This week for Virgo, the energy is less about receiving and more about releasing, paying, closing accounts, settling karma, and letting go. You may have to pay off a debt, You may have to let go of an asset. You may have to fight intensely for something that is rightfully yours.
Topics like inheritance, alimony, compensation, or financial division may become more prominent.
Health also needs attention, especially the head, the organs in the head, the reproductive organs, intimate areas, fevers, nausea, inflammation, and sensitive physical systems should not be neglected over the next 2 weeks. So, yes, your energy around money and health may dip a little, but this does not mean life is bad across the board. Far from it. The areas of love, friendship, education, communication, and hope are still receiving strong support. The biggest theme for Virgo this week is this. Some accounts are meant to be closed now. This could be a debt, a relationship, a marriage, a karmic score, a long overdue emotional release. This week, you may find yourself becoming the one who gives up, lets go, turns away, or releases something once and for all.
Sometimes that is a divorce.
Sometimes it is stepping into a fight for your rightful inheritance. Sometimes it is simply choosing to stop watering something that is clearly not growing. And that is really the message here.
Stop watering what is not alive. Stop trying to revive what is clearly no longer meant to bloom.
If something is gangrenous, this is the week you cut it off. That is powerful because one of the greatest strengths a person can have is the ability to let go. Sometimes the things that hurt us most stay painful only because we refuse to release them. So release what needs to be released. Drop it, cut it, let it go, breathe again. Also, protect your mental health. These energies may pull you toward death, afterlife questions, mystery, dark subjects, secret knowledge, obsession, and deeper existential searching. You may feel drawn toward horror films, occult subjects, spiritual questions, or hidden truths. But don't become your own enemy by staying attached to people or situations that should already be gone.
This week, what saves Virgo is simple.
Letting go of what should no longer be carried.
Libra and Libra rising. Dear Libra,
Do you know what's active for you this week?
open conflict, open enemies, open competition, open tension in relationships.
Your seventh house, the house of relationships, partnerships, marriage, and one-to-one connections, may feel like a battlefield. People who see you as competition, people who provoke you, people who want to pull you into direct confrontation may become much more obvious this week. In relationships, too, you may face harsh dynamics. You may suddenly lose patience with people who are selfish, ego-driven, always focused on themselves, and incapable of meeting you halfway. If there is someone in your life you've been saying, I gave, I tolerated, I invested, I stayed quiet, but you were never truly there for me, this could be the week where things finally explode. For some of you, this may be the beginning of an ending in a relationship. Not necessarily a quiet ending, but one full of tension, ego, impatience, and emotional heat. If you are beginning a new relationship, moving toward marriage, or entering a business partnership, pay very close attention to the other person's ego. Are you truly moving toward love? Or are you aligning yourself with someone who only thinks of themselves? If your relationship is fundamentally healthy and stable, then the best advice is this: tolerate these 2 weeks as wisely as you can. But if you are already in a toxic dynamic filled with lying, betrayal, aggression, selfishness, or cruelty, then yes, this may be the week where the rope finally snaps. The same can apply in business partnerships. Someone who acts like a partner but behaves like your boss, someone who minimizes your effort, someone who constantly competes with you, those dynamics may become impossible to ignore.
So here is your guidance.
Do not give value to people who are trying to pull you into conflict.
No matter how competitive they are toward you, remind yourself, my only real competition is myself.
Keeping your balance this week will not be easy, but it is essential. Even if people push you, try not to leave your own elegance behind. You may feel the urge to say, why am I always the one staying quiet? But sometimes silence is not weakness. It is wisdom. This is one of those weeks where you do not pour gasoline on a fire, even if you are right. The good news? Money, protection, self-worth, and even certain pleasant experiences are still supported. But love and relationships are genuinely under pressure.
Scorpio and Scorpio rising. Dear Scorpio,
this week and the one after it, your main areas of pressure are clearly work and health. Rushing, overworking, trying to keep up, feeling like you don't know what to prioritize, carrying too many responsibilities at once. All of that can weigh heavily on Scorpio now. Health-wise, themes like low immunity, fatigue, sleep deprivation, lack of rest, and emotional burnout may surface. Sometimes it's not even about your own illness. Maybe you are caring for someone else. Maybe you are carrying too much. Maybe work is consuming everything. That too affects health. At work, employees, assistants, colleagues, routines, responsibilities, and daily systems may become hard to manage. Some Scorpios may change jobs, let go of an employee, struggle with a coworker, or suddenly see the true nature, ego, or aggression of the people they work with. But now the beautiful side. Venus, Jupiter, and Mercury, Uranus are supporting you strongly in love, relationships, children, friendship support, communication, and money.
This can bring good news involving children, support from a partner, romantic developments, warmth from loved ones,
A stronger sense of being emotionally held. So yes, there is pressure in work and health, but there is also support in love and connection. You are one of the signs that can handle more than most, but even you need to remember, do not abandon your body while carrying everyone and everything else.
Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising. Dear Sagittarius,
Outside of communication and relationship tension, this is actually a fairly good week for you. Health, work, family, property, and practical life matters can bring positive developments. In fact, your work life seems to be moving toward a brighter opening. Success, recognition, progress, or relief may be approaching.
but love and relationships are another story.
This week and next, your partner's ego, selfishness, jealousy, or inability to think beyond themselves may create arguments, separations, or emotional distance. You may also find yourself questioning your luck very deeply. Am I lucky here or not? Especially in matters of love. Another theme, people trying to steal your spotlight. Every person has a stage somewhere in life. It might be at work, at home, in your social circle, at an event, or simply in the moments where you are seen. This week, envious eyes may be on your stage. So be careful with people who try to make you feel bad at the exact moment you should be happiest. And what heals Sagittarius this week? Hobbies. Creative effort, focus, play. Anything you genuinely enjoy doing with your hands, your mind, or your spirit. If you have a hobby that absorbs your energy in a healthy way, it can help you clear out a lot of this negativity. Just use caution if that hobby involves sharp tools or anything physically risky. Also, be especially gentle with children and loved ones this week. If you are pregnant, parenting, or caring for others, extra tenderness matters. Children may be more emotional than usual and may not know how to express what they are feeling.
One very important thing,
If someone shares a feeling with you, don't dismiss it with, "Don't be ridiculous."
a thought can be wrong, a fact can be wrong, but a feeling is not ridiculous.
This week, offer empathy first, especially to children, partners, parents, and those you deeply care about. Love is tense, yes, but if you lead with empathy, everything flows much more easily.
Capricorn and Capricorn rising. Dear Capricorn,
Your lesson this week is deeply tied to family, home, relocation, parents, old wounds, and emotional truths that have been buried for a long time. Some Capricorns may feel heavily burdened by moving, house-related changes, family responsibilities, or mother-father issues. Some may suddenly find old family wounds rising back to the surface. Thoughts like, "Why was I treated this way?" or "Why didn't I feel valued in my family?" may resurface.
my advice here is very clear.
Go there if you need to, but do not turn it into a war.
Ask your questions. Speak your truth.
But don't ignite a fire. If there are things you need to ask your parents or family elders, ask them. But do it calmly. Because if the people involved are already reactive or emotionally immature, pushing too hard could turn this into something much bigger than it needs to be. Also, be careful at home with water, electricity, gas, wiring, outlets, and unseen household accidents. If something needs repair, do not postpone it. Broken things need attention. Neglected household issues should be handled this week if possible. Now, the good news, your chart also shows beautiful support in love, marriage, siblings, close connections, communication, and emotional support. A single message, phone call, or sudden piece of news could help dissolve tension in your environment. And I want to offer you a symbolic but powerful ritual too.
Clean your front door.
Use rose water, salt, and maybe even a little vinegar if you like. Clean the threshold from inside and outside with intention. Doors are energy passage points. While cleaning, set this intention. May only good people enter through this door. May all negativity and hardship leave through it. For Capricorn this week, threshold, intention, and home energy matter more than usual.
Aquarius and Aquarius rising. Dear Aquarius,
Overall, you're actually not doing badly this week at all. In many ways, you're quite protected, but there is one major test for you.
your tongue,
Either you may not be able to tolerate what you hear, or your mouth may move faster than your awareness. That's the lesson. Siblings, neg-H bores, close relatives, social media, internet interactions, gossip, and information coming your way may all create tension. Especially avoid online conflict. Stay away from digital arguments, fake accounts, public fights, messy comment sections, impulsive posts, and reckless replies. There is also some risk around online trust, internet-based communication, e-commerce, digital misunderstandings, packages, tech issues, phones, computers, and even scams. So if you do business online, double-check everything. The biggest advice for Aquarius this week is very simple. Watch your words. The surrounding atmosphere may feel hot, chaotic, and provoking, but you do not need to say everything that rises in your mind. If something hurts you, write it down instead of blasting it out. What will help you this week?
Lavender tea, calming scents, reading, journaling, reflective time alone, educational or peaceful content. You are allowed to talk to yourself. You are allowed to write,
But you do not need to say everything publicly. Home, property, love, and relationships are not bad. But communication is the area where you need discipline.
Pisces and Pisces rising. Dear Pisces,
The issue most likely to challenge you this week and for the next 2 weeks is clearly money. Expenses, payments, delayed salary, loans, financial pressure, the feeling that money disappears too quickly, or the stress of trying to make everything stretch. All of that may become very present. You may need to sell one thing to buy another. Your paycheck may feel insufficient. You may have to make a large payment. Mortgages, car costs, house costs, debt, and all kinds of financial obligations may start weighing on your mind. There is also some risk around being deceived financially, miscalculating, selling something below its value, overspending, or simply watching money evaporate faster than expected. So yes, please be careful. But there are beautiful aspects too. Support from close people, siblings, communication, education, love, and affection from a partner are all still present. So while finances may feel tighter, you are not emotionally abandoned. One thing to really watch this week is how you interpret your value. Pisces may begin measuring love through material gestures. Thoughts like, they bought this for someone else, but not for me. They forgot my birthday. Does that mean I'm not important? Do they love me or do they only want something from me? May arise. Now, some of these questions may be legitimate, but some of them are simply fear. So be careful not to break your own heart unnecessarily. Don't turn every missing gesture into proof that you are unloved. But if something truly is unhealthy, exploitative, or emotionally empty, then yes, this may be the moment to quietly cut it off. And Pisces does not usually leave with noise. Pisces leaves quietly, like a fish slipping right through your fingers. If you need to go, go that way. But above all, for these next 2 weeks, be very wise with money. If this reading touched your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It supports me so much, and it helps these messages reach the people who are meant to hear them. Thank you for being here with me, beautiful soul. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll see you in the next one. And